Selamat sejahtera dan selamat sepupu. Everyone knows that the best advice in the world is to listen to random strangers on the internet. See, the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement, and that's why I will now bertaubat lah. Because according to Uncle Aaron, I am a kid and I speak bad English. What's that? It's Aaron? No lah. But of course it's Aaron lah. We must listen to our elders, right?
Where is Aaron right now? No Aaron, huh? Well, you better be sick, dead, or mute, Aaron.
Anyway, Uncle Aaron, gonna triggered by some of the videos that I posted about PMX recently. Thank you for the support and 6,000 subs, by the way. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And he wrote this banger of a comment. You see, there are so many things connected to every move a leader makes which a kid like you just wouldn't know due to lack of experience and exposure. What? How you know, Uncle Aaron? You stalk me, But whether I kid or you retire cannot get pension, what have to do with argument? Your statements are not wrong, but at the same time, they aren't right either. Huh? Uncle, if I'm imprecise, missing context, making a point but it's irrelevant, or being evasive, then you can just tell me, right? The one thing you're missing is that you're also in the same circle as who you're talking about. What do politicians do best? They convince people by talking to win votes. If they were greedy, so were the voters. Funnily enough, that's actually true, so I do agree with that, Uncle Aaron. But here the cracks start to appear. So if you want to play the blame game, it's best that you remind yourself on what would the situation be of Malaysia? Shouldn't the sentence structure there be what the situation of Malaysia would be, Uncle Aaron, if PMX had not taken up the PM position? And here it gets good. I'm reminding you, the kid with big mouth and bad grammar. Wow, is my mouth that big? If he governed by PM and the former PM with his beloved wife would be at the very top. Not sure about the syntax or the grammar there. So please grow up. Give our PM respect for what he has done right, like what is visible as the fight on corruption. Of course, with great power comes great responsibility. If he has or is making a mistake in your opinion, be sure to voice out. Yes, thank you, Uncle. When he has making a mistake, I will make sure to point it out with better spoken and correctly pronounced words, followed by a calm, natural tone and body language. And here it gets weird. Nevertheless, thank you for the videos, and please know my intention isn't to offend you, but only to bring to your attention what it feels like when we are criticized or ridiculed. You're appreciated and may you prosper by the works of your hands. Thank you, Uncle Aaron. I am deeply grateful for the wealth of your experience. A little while that the main way you suggest I improve is by improving my grammar and the way I speak, but I guess I'll ignore the A+ I got for SPM, the A* for IG English, 50/90 for the SAT, 8.5 for IELTS, 113 this thing, that other thing, and the Cambridge CELTA as well. Thank you, Uncle Aaron! I see now that none of that matters and I should trust your random internet advice! Sarcasm aside, normally I wouldn't make a video about this, nor would I give it attention, but I think it's important to hold people to a certain standard in our society, especially elderly people who think that their age is the only thing that should make a difference, and people need to listen to them and emulate them, even though they are hypocrites. They did not learn manners from their own parents, think that their age is the only thing that makes a difference, and they don't need any intelligence along the way. But, you know, having said that, Uncle Aaron is absolutely right when he calls for respect. After all, we all need to know respect, right? Respect PMX, he's the Prime Minister and you're not. Respect me because I'm old and you are a small chiku. Very unique perspective, So does that mean that if somebody is old, then we should respect everything that they say? Should I listen to everything Tun Mahathir says? Shall I learn from you how to grow a YouTube channel? But whoa. You know, we do live in Asian society where respecting elders is kind of a given. Nothing wrong with that. Kita saling hormat menghormati. To that I say, Uncle Aaron, you think that you can talk about respect when you don't even know how to give people respect? See, I have no problem here if Uncle Aaron here were to talk about my logic, the quality of my ideas, the things I choose to tell you about. There can be sometimes I make wrong assumptions. Maybe I said 101 different wrong things and people end up acting upon them. In all 101 of those times, you should definitely correct me, fix what I'm saying, I have no problem with that. In fact, I think criticism should be encouraged by all members of society. Criticize your leaders, criticize the people who are administering your resources, criticize the people who give you public services. But if you want to criticize people, criticize them in a way that doesn't show your racism. So tell me, Uncle Aaron, on what basis did you conclude that I have bad grammar? Did you write out every single sentence that I said? Did you read through transcripts tirelessly, seeing if my subjects agreed with verbs, whether there was tense consistency? Did you check for parallel structure, assess fluency, determine the quality of my speech? Because if you didn't, I think you probably concluded, based on the sound of my voice,
and whether the way I spoke matched with
the native speaker way that is connected to the color of your skin and not to the level of your skill. Uncle, people have different ways of expressing themselves, different stress patterns, sentence formation, accent, pronunciation. Unless you're being a card-carrying racist, constantly worshipping native speaker accent, I don't think you have any business going out there and criticizing me for speaking the way that I speak. If you want to go out there and worship a specific accent, right, then how about you go for an accent coaching class?
You can even sign up for this AI accent coaching app so you can get an international accent after obsessing over it over the course of months and years if you want. Link in the description.
Maybe along the way, you can even sign up for a public speaking class where they'll teach you about how when you speak to people, you have to speak the language they understand. If your audience want to hear you talk like this, you can speak like this even though you study in America. Evolve into uncle cooking fried rice all over Malaysia. If you are at a ceramah in Kepala Batas, then you can say, "Itulah susur galur bapak komunis agenda Amerika." Apa? 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 Sir? Sir?
Sepupu.
That's how it works, baby. If you understand what I'm saying, and thousands of other people understand what I'm saying with no issue at all, then you have no reason to talk about pronunciation. Unless, of course, you are an actual racist, which would be very unfortunate. But what do you guys think? Is this guy a racist? Maybe he is, maybe not. I could be overreacting 500 times over. You decide. But okay, if you're a regular watcher of this channel, you probably want to hear substantive arguments, not just the polemics. So let's dive into it.
Clearly, this guy likes Anwar Ibrahim.
Apparently his problem is that I criticized PMX and I was not qualified to do so, even though he criticized my English and he was not qualified to do so. I didn't highlight the good things that PMX did. Well, okay, since you feel so strongly about it, rice prices, electricity tariffs, or whatever, there are some very specific and tangible ways that Madani is improving, and those are things that we can celebrate. It is a fact that Madani managed to get 10.5 billion from Microsoft, Nvidia and YTL 20 billion, Oracle 27 billion, Google 9.4 billion. Minimum wage went up, civil service salaries went up, inflation at 1.8%, record-breaking numbers on tourism. Yang di-Pertuan Agong praised the strengthening of the Malaysian economy.
Although it is true that
I believe Anwar Ibrahim is silent on too many occasions. His priorities can be completely haywire. There are sometimes when I think that even a potato would be better than him. But Anwar Ibrahim is infinitely better than Pas. Well, does that make you happy? Well, it'll make you even happier that I completely believe this. Anwar Ibrahim is so much better than Pas that it is like comparing a diamond and a lump of coal, a phoenix and a Hitler's chicken, and Rayquaza and a Magikarp. At least, he can be an advocate for our international position on the world stage. Compared to Pas, who can actually speak on the world stage? Not a single damn person. And speak about what exactly? Eyes like ours, skin like ours, Bapak Communist 25/7? Wow. Truly amazing. I believe if Pas were to ever govern Malaysia, our country would turn into a basket case hellhole so bad every single non-Malay and Malay should migrate out of this country, compete against it, say kalas goodbye, I'm sorry, it was a nice time. But that does not mean that you should worship him like a sacred animal, treat him like a god. Imagine that he was sent down from heaven to help you and therefore there can be no flaw. Well, now it's my turn. My valid criticism to you,
apart from that you should learn English and the manners your parents did not teach you,
is why are you so afraid of criticizing Anwar? Let's be clear, Uncle Aaron. Just because you celebrate things about a person, it doesn't mean that you cannot point out things where they can improve. We saw him demonstrate the ability to improve when he finally spoke out and said, look, I trust that Malaysia can be a diverse society. You don't need to protect Muslims. You can have faith in them to protect their own faith. There's no need for rules, regulations. We're not having those Jakim event guidelines. That was great. It was a dose of leadership at a very important time.
But it was a problem he created, and the world would probably see those guidelines enforced right now if not for people like Siti Kasim.
So yeah, I just want to express my feeling here lah, as a Malay, as a Muslim in this country, that we need defense as well from our fellow brothers and sisters that are not Malays and not Muslims, because we all need each other. As much as I try to talk on behalf of you, I also hope that you will actually talk on behalf of me and the rest of the Malays who are actually being oppressed by this institutionalized religion.
Why do you not dare to speak out when you are supposed to speak out at the right time, thinking that, oh, you must walk on eggshells, thinking to yourself, if I ever criticize him, then the entire Madani government will turn into mush. And if you feel so strongly about celebrating the good things that PMX did, then you're welcome to go ahead and grow your own YouTube channel yourself, even as you give up the opportunity to improve the way your Prime Minister is doing things by giving him feedback that is crucial for him to run this place better. But anyway, thank you so much for the concern, Uncle Aaron. Thank you for telling me I'm appreciated and hoping that I will prosper from the works of my hands. But I don't think you're being sincere. If you want to criticize me, go ahead. But do it in a better way and then talk about something that actually makes sense. Criticism on the level of ideas is totally fine, but you come here and you start talking about how people speak, the way they phrase their sentences, thinking that because you're old or you were born slightly earlier than people, that means you have the privilege to say anything you want, no matter how stupid, misinformed, or even borderline racist, and everybody has to respect you while you play victim and then you say, oh, wish for your success. Best believe you're not going to get any respect from the younger generation, and I wouldn't be surprised if even your contemporaries don't respect you either. Look uncle, how old also I don't care one, saya tak peduli. Kalau kau orang tua, I expect logical thinking out of you. Tolonglah, use your brain and your experience, not this ad hominem pointing out nonsense things about how people speak. You are an embarrassment to everyone who is your age. Drill this into your head. Respect is earned and not given. Nothing is free in the universe. You want people to respect you, and this goes for every single senior citizen out there in the world.
And by the way, the non-senior citizens as well.
You better act like you actually deserve it. Thankfully, not every old person in Malaysia is like you, because if they were like you, right, uncle, this entire country would be long gone. Alright, and that's it. Ciao.